Well, good morning, everyone. I don't hear you. Good morning. That wasn't a morning. Anyway, good morning and welcome to Tapestry Hall, which is an incredible addition to an incredible city, don't you think? Thank you for having us. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather today is a land traditionally used by the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral people. I also acknowledge the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. And to start us off on this wonderful Monday morning, I'd like to welcome Indigenous educator Clarence Kakagi to the stage to teach us about the land on which we're gathered today. Clarence calls Cambridge his home and has an undeniable spirit for change. With a primary focus on working with the spirit within, he is a helper, visionary, and author who is known for investing his whole self into his community. Clarence originates from Chapleau Cree First Nation. Welcome and good morning, Clarence. And just before we get going, I wanted to present Clarence with a gift. Good morning, and thank you so much for giving me whole self this morning.
All right.
And starting off off well.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Clarence Kakagi, and I'm also going to introduce myself with my spirit name. So, Wache Ane Baju Sego. I am Kiwe Tinwe Inane. That translates into North Windman. I'm from the people of the Mushkegowuk, people of the river, Fox Lake Reserve, Chapleau Cree First Nation Bear Clan, and I am a beautiful person. Now, Catherine, thank you so much for this tobacco. Tobacco was the first medicine that was gifted to us as Indigenous people. And it was gifted to us by the Creator so that we'll always be able to stay connected to that spirit. Tobacco is also given out of acknowledgement and respect. And that's what I was just presented with. So, Chimigwich, thank you, and Giniskomatin. Now, I wanted to present you with something. And what I have here is a tail feather of a hawk. And what they use tail feathers for is for direction. So I'd like to present you with this tail feather, and the values of this hawk feather are strength, guardianship, and farsightedness. And you have all of those values, and it's appropriate that you receive this.
Thank you.
Wow, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful place. And look at all these beautiful people. It's an honor for me to be here today. So thank you for asking me. And thank you for that wonderful acknowledgement about the land. And as we acknowledge the land, we always have to remember where we fit in that circle of life. I always like to acknowledge the connectedness that I have to the land. I like to acknowledge the connectedness to the two-legged, to the four-legged, to the winged ones, to the swimmers, to the crawlers, to those four winds. I'd like to also acknowledge how we have a connectedness to the trees, to all of the plants, to the rocks and the minerals and the mountains and the rivers and the streams and the oceans, all as equals within that circle of life. I need a drink of water. Sorry about that. Excuse me. sometimes I get a little nervous up here and my mouth gets dry. And I'm being honest. So, this past weekend was a weekend of reflection. It was a weekend of reflection because I went back in time. I went back in time this weekend. I don't know if many of you know that I'm not from this beautiful part of Ontario, but I ended up here because I'm part of the 60 Scoop. I was raised by New Order Mennonites. So yesterday, I went back to the church where I was at for 13 years, and I spoke there at Manheim Mennonite Church. It was a day of emotions, but it was a priceless day because I had the opportunity to go back and say thank you to those people who accepted me. I got to say thank you to those people who never judged me. And I got to say thank you to those people who walked with me. Now, as I reflect to 4 years ago, when I first moved and bought a house in Cambridge, I reflect on the first time that I met Mayor Catherine McGarry. She was not a mayor then, but she was campaigning. And she came to our house and she introduced herself. And she had a beautiful, beautiful person with her, this young man, who I said, "Who are you?" He said, "Oh, I'm just a volunteer." I said, "Oh, no, you're not. You're more than a volunteer." And that was my first experience and connection with meeting Catherine. And 4 years later, here I am on the stage doing an opening. So how does that work? That works when the time is right and when you're connected to the spirit of people, places, and things. And I can't say enough about the connection that I have to this region. This region is where I want to invest my time. This region is where I want to make some changes. And I think the region is ready to make some very, very important changes to do with allyship, to do with reconciliation, and to do with walking down a different road, a new road of opportunity as equals, and we can live in harmony. You know, with every day comes endless opportunities. When that sun comes up in the east, it's a new beginning. And then when we look to the south, that's where our ancient teachings come from. And then when we look to the west, that's where our ancestors are waiting for us. And then when we look to the north, when that north wind comes, it brings change. So I think it's suitable that my spirit name is North Wind Man, because I'm here to bring change. And I want to bring change with the help of the region. So I'm going to sing a morning song. And the song, it talks about all of the beautiful things that happens when that sun comes up. How many opportunities await us with each day. So as I sing this song, in your own way, think of how you can embrace this day in a positive way, in a meaningful way, in a way that's going to impact you and others. When we sing, it's a form of prayer. So it was an honor for me to sing and pray for you and for us and for creation today. Thank you, Chimigwich, Inaskomaten, and everybody have an amazing day. Aho.
Miigwech, and thank you, Clarence. I knew we'd get started off on not only the day, but the week in the right way. So, miigwech again. Well, it's been a while since we've gathered, and I think there's a thing or two that we can catch up on today, and maybe a little bit to discuss. I'm so thrilled to actually see you here in person and so glad that we could be here. And I'm also wanting to point out that with me today are all of my regional council colleagues. Will you please put your hands up? Thank you for being here. And also all of my Cambridge Council colleagues who, without their work and their support, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you for joining us today. Our community has changed, wouldn't you say? The way we do business has changed. We have changed, all of us, shaped by the last 2 years of incredible personal and professional challenges. And when we talk about these personal and professional challenges, each and every one of us in this room has overcome so much, living through a collective human experience, the pandemic, with individual hardships. And despite the weight of it all, our community has proven itself resilient. Our community pivoted in ways that we never thought possible to support one another. As much as I know we don't all want to dwell on the pandemic, because we'd like it to be over, I did want to spend some time telling some of the stories on how Cambridge has leveled up and answered the call. When the country needed masks and PPE, we delivered, with Pri-Med, Eclipse, and Prescience ramping up production to protect our country, our loved ones, and the world. Recently, the 100 millionth mask was produced at Pri-Med. That's a sign of an innovative, creative business community. In the early days of the mass vaccination clinics, and when we were getting our first shipments of vaccines, I'm sure Deputy Chief Shirley Hilton will remember this day, our Smart Centre businesses stepped up to offer free space for the region's largest vaccination clinic at Pine Bush Road. Volunteers rushed in, eager to protect one another and help. The Cambridge Chamber of Commerce was absolutely instrumental in keeping businesses safe and open through Chamber Check and distributing rapid testing kits. Together, we also engaged the suffering hospitality leaders. It was a devastated sector in the hospitality industry, and we engaged them from across the region, taking their voices to the decision makers at the provincial level in order to help chart a path forward through the pandemic. And when the world shut down, the City of Cambridge team worked around the clock, unwavering in their commitment to serving the public through shutdown after shutdown, through wave after wave. And when everyone stayed at home, our team stepped up to ensure that we still had safe drinking water and to ensure our critical infrastructure and services were maintained. It may not be the most exciting list of tasks, but it is the most essential. When Cambridge needed us, we were there, a good neighbor, if you will. I'll brag more about our community a little later, but right now I wanted to highlight that while we were working through this, our team did it with grit and grace and excellence, and that's evident in the accolades that we've collected over the last year and a half. Our team logged a record number of filming days, fielding 64 inquiries. Our city issued $500 million worth of construction value from building permits in 2021. And our city clerk has been recognized from an award from the Association of Municipal Managers, Clerks, and Treasurers of Ontario for running a very successful by-election during the pandemic. Our finance team has been honored with the Canadian Award for Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association for the 5th year in a row. Our team also, through cost containment measures to better manage our budget, allowed us to recently allocate more money to affordable housing options. And our city has secured both a Bee City, I'd like to buzz, but I won't, and a Tree City of the World designation. Our Service Cambridge team also fielded over 37,000 requests for service last year alone. And on top of that, our team undertook a refresh of the strategic plan mid-pandemic to ensure we were engaging with and meeting our community's evolving needs. Each of those accolades, while impressive on their own, are part of a bigger picture. A Bee City and a Tree City means a more sustainable green future. Record building permits and construction means more housing and greater economic prosperity. And who doesn't want that? It's all about weaving that golden thread that ties it all together. Every decision makes our city what it is and sets it up for the future of what it can be. In our day-to-day as elected officials, there are decisions that we make sometimes that will be unpopular. There are decisions you have to make for the greater good of the collective community to weave that proverbial golden thread together. Since the start of this council's term, we've gone through regional and amalgamation review, and that wasn't that long ago. And then we, since then, have navigated the pandemic. We've witnessed policy change after policy change at the provincial level, leading to challenges municipally. And personally, it's no secret that myself and my family has, like so many others, suffered a great loss, and I've had to take a leave of absence for surgery. So I want to say thank you to this incredible team that I work with, my colleagues both regionally and in our Cambridge Council, and in particular, Councillor Mike Mann for stepping up to fill in the role of Deputy Mayor while I was off for a few weeks. Personally and professionally, this has been a profoundly challenging year for myself, our family, and many in our city. And having said that, I remain proud and humbled to be your mayor.
I think people of Cambridge just love to support local, and they just love what's happening in their own city, or in Hespeler, Galton, Preston. They love to support and help encourage and help businesses thrive within their own town.
One of the key things we want to concentrate on is listening to our business community, understanding how the city can support them as we move out of these trying times.
So we've been here for almost a year. Once we actually opened, so many stopped in to introduce themselves and say hi. And then once we really realized what's special about Galt, it's not just the historic area, it is the community feel and how business leaders in the area support each other.
In Service Cambridge, we strive to provide quality, efficient, and consistent service to residents of Cambridge. Our mandate continued to be to serve the public, provide information and as fast and accurate as possible, and ensure that resident inquiries are responded to.
Hard to buy a house, and so we provide an option for families specifically, which is our target, to buy in the communities that they live. The need is great. Rental prices are increasing. Families are getting squeezed. It's a very difficult time in housing.
We've recognized that we need to be part of the solution. So I think what we're seeing is that we are putting policies in place in terms of how to get affordable housing in the community, and a different variety. It's not just the single-family home anymore. We have demands for all types, such as townhouses, condos, and other types of units.
Stable housing allows people to engage more broadly in their community. It's awfully hard to think about how to engage in your school or in the civics of your city if you're not sure where you're going to be living. So the stability of housing provides opportunity for families to engage and to better the totality of the city.
At this location, we support over 130 individuals who are unsheltered and homeless, living rough in the community. We're making sure that there are spaces and places for people at all different stages of life and in all circumstances. I think that what is important is that we are building towards a community where no one is left behind and where everyone feels supported.
There's certainly a focus on health and wellness, hence the investment that council's making in recreation facilities. I think there's a recognition of the need for additional green space, which also impacts climate change. But I think the other piece is to continue to support our local businesses so that they can prosper. But also we want to ensure that our community is a healthy and a safe community as well.
What really drew us to this area is how historic it is, how naturally beautiful it is, and obviously the community feel in this area really drew us in.
We're so blessed with incredible staff and incredible partnerships around this city, and certainly our council members make this happen. And being mayor of this great city means we get to celebrate all things that make us great. Everyone in the room knows that we're great, but we know we can be better too. When we talk about future growth, we know that engagement is key. Part of that engagement is working with and engaging the Indigenous community. a piece we know we can all do better on. The City of Cambridge has dedicated a portfolio to this and will soon be welcoming someone to the team to specifically help to guide these imperative and important conversations. We're not perfect, and every day we show up working individually on different pieces that contribute to the overall city building and creating a great place for everyone to live, play, and work. We are the biggest cheerleaders, and we have been successful in securing provincial and federal investments, meaning others are noticing our greatness and also our potential. For instance, Novacol Pharma secured a $32.7 million commitment from our federal government to increase Canada's biomanufacturing capacity. Waterloo Region Police Services will receive over $12 million from the province to expand the Community Engagement and Wellbeing Branch and the Crisis Call Division program. Blendtec is leveraging the Southwestern Ontario Development Fund to upgrade and build its product development facility. And the region of Waterloo International Airport is undergoing a $44 million transformation, which is great for businesses and for us residents. Bruce Power recently awarded another contract to BWXT in the tune of $40 million to continue the excellent work that BWXT is doing to renew Ontario's nuclear fleet. The Hespeler Library and YMCA are utilizing funds from the Community Culture and Recreation Infrastructure stream of the Investing Canada Fund to upgrade their facility infrastructure. We've moved forward on pieces and needs that were ideas that were debated for far too long. This year, Council did endorse Regional Building 150 Main Street as the space for a potential consumption and treatment service site because for too long, politics were played while people died of preventable overdoses. Supporting the most vulnerable in our community is unquestionable. It's key to a healthy city and a community for all of us. Our beautiful city, thank you. Our beautiful city that serves as a backdrop for incredible filming opportunities and photo ops is home to beautiful people, some of whom are struggling and need support and care. I'm incredibly proud of the work that's being done by outreach workers at agencies like Aqua, Stonehenge, and the Cambridge Food Bank, often unrecognized or in the shadows of this incredible backdrop. At 150 Main Street, people are treated with respect and care and offered opportunities to lift themselves out of difficult situations. This shouldn't be up for debate. The city needs to partner not only with the region, but those who are experts in providing essential medical care and mental health and addiction services to those who need it. And 150 Main Street is an excellent example of that. And we all know supportive housing is a priority. The region is working towards 2,500 affordable housing units within 5 years. We all need to work together on this piece and let those who are the experts do what they do. Experts like Indwell, who offer deeply affordable permanent housing coupled with on-site integrated health supports, guiding their tenants on their journey to health, wellness, and belonging. Indwell is the fastest growing provider of new supportive affordable housing in Southern Ontario, and I'm so pleased to say that Indwell envisions providing hope and homes to more than 100 people in Cambridge in the next 3 years. That's incredible. We all need to work together to ensure everyone in Cambridge has a safe, permanent, affordable housing option. It's more than just a roof over someone's head. It's a place to learn, grow, and create community. On Bechtel Street, we partnered with the region and the federal government to bring unique options using shipping containers. Now Housing, that's capital NOW, the contractor, builds these units right here in Cambridge. And in downtown Cambridge, we'll be welcoming the KW Urban Wigwam project to build 30 units for the Indigenous community, including 16 units specifically for women and children. And the Cambridge Shelter Corporation has permanently housed over 150 people experiencing homelessness during the pandemic. That's also amazing. And we've heard from Habitat for Humanity today, and we're absolutely thrilled to have them building here in Cambridge again. We've also supported the creation of a tiny homes project and a prototype with the University of Waterloo's School of Architecture. So these are all examples of creative and excellent partnerships with one common goal: housing first and creating a sense of community. Another piece, and also a great need that was debated for far too long, is the Cambridge Recreation Complex. We're moving forward there, and I couldn't be more proud. It will serve as a true community hub with a community center, library, 2 schools, a pool, walking tracks, and gyms, all at one site. So we know action is needed here. We've seen the results of our recent youth engagement survey, which shows that young people in Cambridge are some of the most disengaged in the region and the province. So that's really why investments like our new soccer fields in partnership with Conestoga College are really essential. Across the road from that, it's going to be their national archery site. We have new disc golf facilities at Soper Park, and we are reimagining that public space. We're revamping Preston Auditorium, focusing on our cycling and active transportation infrastructure, and increasing ice time with 2 new pads to create a 4-plex plan at the Cambridge Ice Park. We need to create more opportunities for youth, and we need to invest in these amenities. We know that that's part of the key to overall well-being of our young people. Free places with engaging spaces to foster community connection. I can't stress how important placemaking is in our community. Where we're today, in the middle of the Gaslight District, is a space that's been totally reimagined. Many didn't recognize it coming in this morning. Projects like this build inspiring communities, weaving that golden thread together that create housing, recreation, and entertainment options in walkable communities. It's about animating public spaces with arts and culture, bolstering our very vibrant art scene. Our music scene is growing in national recognition with the Reclaws and Stacey Kay, who just won the Golden Buzzer Award on Canada's Got Talent. How about those voices, eh? Cambridge folks. Just incredible talent, incredible performances, and we're so proud of our homegrown musicians. We also have excellent partnerships like the Hamilton Family Theatre just next door. We have phenomenal volunteers in our city with initiatives that put us on the map, like the Poppy Project. We have a growing, diverse community that offers rich cultural experiences for all. And nothing highlighted the need for priority placemaking like the pandemic did. Cambridge has phenomenal riverfronts, trails, parks, places and spaces, and I'm excited to see us further activate these public spaces to foster that community and that connection that people have with each other. The Butterfly Conservatory, Fashion History Museum, McDougall Cottage, and renovated Fire Hall Museum do add to our vibrant arts and culture spaces. But there's a bigger purpose for that too. These amenities help check the boxes for businesses that are looking at these things and these amenities as they consider the quality of life for their employees looking to settle in Cambridge. And that again ties that golden thread together. Again, where we are today is connected to our downtown core by the pedestrian bridge, This is near where the terminus is going to be for the Phase 2 ION, further connecting Cambridge within Waterloo Region and creating walkable, livable communities. And soon, Energy Plus will merge with Brantford Power to form a new entity called Grandbridge. Isn't that a great name? And we will be seeing electricity rates stabilize for the next 10 years. And it'll ensure that we do have the capacity to have for future growth. It means, and I did want to say that they will be moving in right next door in June, which is right downtown here, and we're certainly looking forward to Grandbridge Energy in the downtown core space. It means businesses like Toyota, who's our largest employer, can continue to grow and prosper here as Team Toyota prepares for the 10 millionth car to roll off the line in Cambridge. I can't imagine this community without it. But future growth also means growing and attracting businesses to our North Cambridge Business Park, building density in our cores while protecting our agricultural lands, natural heritage system, and groundwater, and that certainly is worth clapping for. Our environment's important. And I cannot stress how pivotal Invest Cambridge team has been and continues to be in growing all of this for our benefit. Future growth means building density with projects like the Gaslight District condos, Pearl Hotel and condos, countless builds in downtown Hespeler, our Smart Centres redevelopment, and the reimagining the Fountain and King Street areas in Preston with new projects as well. All boats rise with the tide. Looking ahead to the rest of 2022 and beyond, we have our work cut out for us. We're going to see the benefit of all these sometimes very difficult decisions. We're going to grow and evolve. Smooth seas don't make for skilled sailors. It's easy to steer the ship in calm waters. And to quote Chair Redmond, and I know she won't mind, it certainly has been like Mr. Toad's wild ride since we last gathered for Cambridge's State of the City. I can guarantee you that it's been worth it. I can promise that we will continue to be fierce advocates at the regional, provincial, and federal levels for things like Phase 2 ION, all-day two-way go through a link between Cambridge and Guelph, funding for the Cambridge Recreation Complex, our harm reduction supports, housing, mental health and addiction funding, and just so much more. It's taking care of our most vulnerable. It's supporting small, new, and large businesses. It's building accessible, supportive, and affordable and attainable housing. It's sustainable growth. It's investing in active transportation networks. It's investing in placemaking and fun things to do to connect families with their community. It's about opportunity. It's city building. It's big picture thinking. It's every decision, even the hard ones, weaving together like that proverbial golden thread to create the city that we all want for ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. I am filled with hope and optimism. We have it all: people, place, and prosperity. Cambridge, our future is bright. Thank you.